I definitely felt like we were holding each other's hands throughout this entire season, especially
metaphorically,
platonically,
yeah,
as besties.
yeah.
First question is from CalmGirl22, who asked, for Josh, what was it like to work with Sofia more in season 4? And for Sofia, what was it like to work with Josh more in season 4?
Oh man, can I do another question, please? No, I'm just kidding. No, it was literally a dream come true. It was so wholesome and wonderful and supportive and adventurous. Like, we would just do whatever we wanted on camera, and like, for some reason, of all people, like, even from season 1, like, anytime we had scene together, it was so quick and easy. Like, we would always film our stuff really fast. I think it's just because there's like a natural rhythm that we both have. And so, again, just being able to play around, being able to improvise stuff, never ending the scene because we just keep adding stuff on at the end, and just the freedom to do that from Tim was just so wonderful. And then again, like, in between takes, like, either I'd be having a mental breakdown and she'd be my therapist, or she'd be having a mental breakdown and I was her therapist. So it was, it was just really special and absolutely unforgettable.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt like we were holding each other's hands throughout this entire season, especially
metaphorically,
platonically,
yeah,
as besties.
Yeah.
No, for real, like, it is really, really wonderful to be able to work with someone who is your friend, and being, in a relationship in a show, I think that can be kind of odd. It's not, I don't think any human being is meant to fake that. But when you're really close to somebody, and you have like a strong friendship with them, I think it allows for it to feel like we can really trust each other and play around with that. And I just remember certain moments going into certain scenes, you were always like, you'd pull me aside and be like, hey, are you comfortable with this? Like, you were always advocating for my comfortability, and knowing that my scene partner wants the best for me as a human being, like, that makes the whole experience so much easier and so much better. So it was just wonderful, and just all the times that we got to hang out off set with Sailor as well, one of our other coworkers and friends, it just made the experience feel easier and lighter, because it can be hard moving to a different state and living without sun for 4 to 5 months. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and also our houses that we were staying in were like a block and a half away, so
yeah, so I just go and drive dinner over and drop it off and go away.
Yeah, I would just hear a knock at the door, and I'm like, what the heck? And I open it, it's a goodie basket, and then I would like knock at her door, and she wouldn't open it because she thought someone was trying to
living alone
I was knocking at her door, and I was like, hello, and I called her. She's like, is that you? And I was like, yes, it's me. You're safe. You're fine.
Yeah, and then you gave me pepper spray, and I hold that thing
and
with
a taser.
Yeah.
You gotta be safe in Salt Lake. You know what I'm saying?
Buddies for real.
Who's the clumsiest person on set, and why is it Josh?
Whoa!
Oh.
That was very passive aggressive.
Honestly,
and it's Sofia.
No, yeah, Josh is like a cat. Like, the way you can jump onto things and balance, like, you got the balance.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it really does. Like, I've never seen a human being on as many high surfaces as you.
But I also trip the most. It's kind of bizarre. I do fall the most, but I also land the most.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
But I am pretty clumsy. Like, you would think.
There were times where I did have to catch you, though.
Yeah, many times.
My instinct, anytime Sophia moves, is like a catch. Like,
and I would make fun of him for it.
She would make fun of me for it.
He'd be like, "Oh, I won't catch you anymore." And then I would actually fall, and I'd be like, "Bro, what's up with that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, you made fun of me."
Literally, she would like start to trip, and I'd go to help her, and she'd be like, "Bro, really?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm trying to help you." And then she would trip. There were times where I actually caught you, and I was like, "Are you happy now?"
Well, that's my time. Thank you both so much. It was wonderful to see you.
We only got 2 questions.
Yeah, I know. I look at one more.
Ask another question. Well, what are they gonna do? Stop us?
Perfect. Okay, fine. I will ask one more question. For both of you, if you could have written an episode of the show, what would the plot have been?
I've always wanted to film. I remember trying to convince Tim to have us film in New York, or like someplace like super far off. I was like, imagine the Wildcats go to New York for no apparent reason at all. But I think that would be fun, like the Wildcats going to Bora Bora, just for me.
You know what?
You know?
The one I did have is High School Cruisical. Oh, no, yeah, High School Cruisical, the musical, the cruise ship, or the something like that. But basically,
wait, no, that's good.
An episode on a cruise.
Sweet Life of High School Musical, the musical series.
Of Waverly Place, exactly. I think us going on a cruise ship, High School Cruisical. No, it's High School Musical, the Cruisical. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
High School Musical, the Cruisical, the series at sea. I think that would be the best episode ever. What happens? Who
for
knows?
real.
Ricky falls overboard. Gina has to come
Gina
save him.
turned into a mermaid.
Gina definitely would turn into a mermaid.
Some School for Good and Evil tie in there.
Exactly.
Hi, it's great to see y'all. How are you doing?
Hello. Good to see you.
You all look fantastic. Congrats on the last season.
Thank you.
I'm so sad. I can't believe we've been doing these interviews every single season. I can't believe this is our last one. Last for this, not last ever.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
First one is for all of you from Soft Pink Rosie, who asked, what's the first thing you remember from stepping on set? And we will start with Julia.
The nerves, being terrified. This was sort of all of our first big project, and especially to like carry the weight and the name of High School Musical was a very daunting feeling for someone's like first real big job. But I mean, there's such a loving family on set that was sort of, you know, erased right away. And the second that you step on set, even as the seasons go on, if there was anybody new that ever stepped on set, I mean, it was just like an embrace from the start and warm welcoming. And so I think us feeling nervous from season 1 helped us to help other people join our show and just make it a really fun, friendly family atmosphere. So that was really special. And then of course the way that the show was received also really helps with that, because people really loved it, and that was very special. But definitely like terrified day one for sure.
I mean, same. The first thing I can remember from the first day is how I had these like my ankles were showing. I remember it was so cold. I was like, oh my gosh, it's snowing. But I remember being so nervous, and it was the first scene where we see Carlos, and so he was with Miss Jen, and I just remember being like, I told Kate, I was like, I'm so nervous, and she was like, oh, don't be nervous. And I don't know if she could like feel it, but she totally changed the subject, and we started talking about something else where she was like, put me at ease. It was like so Miss Jen, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready. Whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna follow whatever you're gonna do. And so that's like my first memory from set.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, mine, I literally walked into High School Musical as a tourist. Like, I had my phone out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they do. I want to know. That's what they do. I mean, I explored those halls like front to back. It was such an amazing experience, and I was just so starstruck that I forgot I was filming. It was so much fun, and being able to be Courtney and be myself was absolutely an amazing experience.
The next question is from Anonymous, who asked, I know, right? Didn't want to reveal themselves. Okay, yeah. We know who this is.
Okay, got me.
Julia asked, fan fiction is a huge part of Tumblr. My question for you all is, have you read any fan fiction about your characters or characters from other pieces of media?
No.
No, I haven't. What have you read? Well, growing up, everyone read the stories on Wattpad, not the crazy ones, but you know the good.
Sure, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, yeah. And I read some of those, and you know, on Twitter, I scroll through some of the stories about us, you know, because they're really good and they're really, you know, entertaining. So yeah, that's my Sunday read.
There you go.
What's your favorite thing that you read happening in fan fiction that you would have wanted to actually like happen to Courtney or for Courtney to do?
Oh my gosh, somebody said that Courtney was like valedictorian, and she was like going to like it was like a very good school like Dartmouth or like one of the Ivies. She was also like had a really fun like love triangle between Howie and Jet, which I thought was cool. I don't want to say no more because I don't want to seem like a stalker. So whoever read it and wrote it, fantastic. Kept me on the edge of my seat.
It's character research, actually.
There you go.
The next question is from Big Hero 6, the movie. Really big fan of High School Musical, the series, I guess. Who asked, if HSM TMTS was filmed like a 2000s movie, what would your character's freeze frame epilogue be at the end?
I want to do something ridiculous. Like, Carlos made his way out to New York, but never made it. But like never made it there. He currently resides in Las Vegas or something.
I think Ashlyn wants to be like, I think her dreams are like to make it to Broadway and like be a star. So I think some sort of like you know, Ashlyn made her Broadway debut in the something something. And she wears like a fabulous costume and yeah, something like that. I think those are her dreams. Or maybe she is hanging out with Carlos in Vegas.
Ooh, I guess for Courtney, it would be like Courtney heads to LA to be a social media influencer, and she helps those recover from being from not
having social media.
The next question is for Julia. It's also anonymous. Was this you?
Wow.
Oh, and it's for me. I wonder that.
To Julia from Julia. Julia, as a queer person, how has it felt being able to finally tap into and expand on Ashlyn's queerness, especially after having advocated for Ashlyn to get a queer storyline since the show first began?
Thank
And
you.
the person also said her queer storyline has been so relatable and delicately done, and you are truly the perfect Ashlyn to do it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Anonymous, aka me. Just kidding. That is so nice. Thank you. It's really special. There weren't a lot of, or none really, stories about queer women in high school growing up for me to look back on in any sort of phase of my childhood. So to know that my story and Ashlyn's story is touching people and helping them discover who they are or be more confident in who they already are is really special. And especially to know these aspects about Ashlyn since season 1 and then to finally be able to bring them to light and tell the world who she really is has been really special. And we only explore it even further in season 4, which I think is really important for people to see and is just something that I really would have loved and needed growing up. And the way that you said it's delicately done is very powerful and very true. And I think that that's a great way to tell a queer storyline and have it be positive and lovely and beautiful and yeah, just told in a really beautiful light. So yeah.
Next question is for Frankie. And the question is, what can you tease about Carlos's storyline in season 4? And where do you see him beyond season 4?
It definitely plays out like a Real Housewives episode in season 4. There's a lot of drama, but I think one of the best things that came out of it is we get this great song that we got to preview earlier this year called Over Again that I get to sing with Joe Serafini. And so I was like, if Carlos has to go through this so that I can get this, I'll selfishly take it.
Next question is from Shipper Trash 37. Dara, can you tell me about what you've learned from Courtney this season?
Ooh, that is such a great question. I feel like I've learned so much about her this season, and she's just a beautiful, beautiful heart, just continuously open and sharing herself. And I feel like season 3, I got to connect myself with my mental health and my struggles and daily experience with anxiety. And I feel like this season, I really saw myself through her and how I could be more confident like how she is. And I could, believe in myself like how she does and tell myself that it's okay to have bad days. It's okay that not everything is going to be perfect. You don't have to be a perfectionist. And I love that we both are learning ways to help ourselves through that.
It's great that you brought up the mental health aspect because we also had another question for you about the mental health aspect of the series, which is asking what the experience was like for you of portraying a character that has anxiety and to have panic attacks and what that means to you to be able to play that role.
Oh, wow. It means a lot, especially because I deal with it on a daily basis. And I remember in high school, I didn't really know what it was. And I was like, what am I experiencing? Why am I having panic attacks in the middle of English? You know what I mean? And I'm really grateful that I got to portray it in an accurate representation, especially on a show that I love and that I grew up with and talk about something that's so dear and something that I'm still dealing with and experiencing and knowing that it's okay to still be dealing with it. It's not going to heal overnight, So I really enjoyed talking about it. And I'm so grateful I had the platform to do it.
Ex-Prodigy asked, can you describe a spoiler with 3 emojis? And they also said, this is a real question, I promise.
I think just a bunch of rainbow emojis. And like the little nails that are like.
Yeah. I think mine would be the crying one, and then a blue heart, and then a pink heart, of course.
Aww.
And then the pink heart with the sparkle ones.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. Mine would be the shocked emoji where he's like half blue and half like, yellow. And my other would be ooh, I'm like, I almost gave a real spoiler. A red heart. And the next one would be sparkles.
Oh.
Cute.
What do you think your characters' star signs, birthdays, middle names, and favorite colors would be?
Stop playing.
Whoa.
Wow.
Ashlyn knows her star sign. As we learned from season 3, don't try to question it. She is a Gemini sun, Leo rising. I don't know what her moon sign is though, so maybe season 4 will figure that out. While people watch season 4, they'll be able to tell me what her moon sign is. She really identifies with that. It was really funny because in season 1, Tim told me that Ashlyn's real middle name is Sophia, so Ashlyn Sophia Caswell, but she chose for Moon to be her middle name instead, and I think she had some help from Madam Stephanie with that, and she really identifies as that, and I think that's why she signs her name as Ashlyn Moon Caswell, because she wants everybody to know that it's Moon. And her favorite color, I think her color palette has always been like greens and blues and purples and rainbow. She loves the rainbow. Yep.
The first sign that's coming to my head. Well, Carlos did have a birthday, but we don't know what month it landed in. So
It was like
it was cold. I'm gonna say an Aquarius.
hot.
He's an Aquarius. Middle name Carlos Victor Rodriguez. And then favorite color, I feel like I wore a lot of green and blue, so maybe one of those two.
Okay, mine. Courtney is a Capricorn. She has an Aquarius moon.
Oh.
And her middle name is Beyonce. Because I just feel like, why not? Like, yeah. At the same time, speak into existence what you want to be like. And her favorite colors, I would say pink, orange, yellows, reds.
Yeah.
That's
Which
what
just might be Dara's favorite color.
I remember the interview we did, I think a year or two ago, where you had like a bright orange background too and everything. Yes.
That's iconic.
The first question is from Daylights, who asked, Tim, how did you feel going into this series, knowing that there was already a very dedicated HSM fan base? Were you afraid to stray too far away from HSM, or did you want to change the dynamic between the series and the movies?
Wow, great question. I knew what I didn't want to do was a remake, because those original movies are perfect. And they're like a time capsule. So there was some intimidation knowing how big that franchise was. But I'll be honest, I grew up with like Fame and Footloose and Little Shop of Horrors. I was not the target audience for High School Musical. So I was a little removed. And then as a lifelong theater person, my hunch was if we hire real theater kids like Julia and Dara and Josh and Olivia season 1 and 2, that if we could get them to cover the songs, that would bring a new voice and a new sound that celebrates the original but distinguishes ourselves. That was the hunch. That was the crazy guess. And I was very lucky that it seems to work.
Hat Tat the Hatter, great username, asked, is there any possibility the show might get a spin-off? These characters have so many stories left to tell. I wish we could see more of them.
Oh, I love these characters and I love that question. Always a possibility, nothing active right now. We're really focused on just like having the biggest season ever when it streams in August. And I think, you can't stay in high school forever. And so the 4th season is a real celebration and a genuine graduation for some of these characters. And then let's see what fate brings us. But always a possibility, nothing active right now.
The next question is from Anonymous, who asked, for Tim, is it possible to release deleted scenes even if they're not considered canon?
Oh, wow. I don't actually know the answer to that. That's sort of in the Disney vault. And frankly, while we're on strike, that would probably be considered writing. So I don't think I'm allowed to look at that. But I think that's a really interesting question for something down the road, because we got some stuff that's for down the road. That's like let's bookmark and revisit.
Next question is from Shipper Trash 37, who asked, how much does the documentary and its falsified storylines impact the kids when they get back to school?
The documentary, it impacts them certainly immediately. But ultimately, I think I wanted to make sure, even with this super meta movie season with the OGs back and High School Musical 4, I wanted to make sure at the end of the day it was like a relatable series for non-star kids worried about, relationships and college and anxiety. And so it impacts them, but I would say it is not the A story of the season.
Strawberry 13 asked, did you take anything from set with you when you wrapped? And if so, what?
I was more, yes, I did take stuff from set, but I visited our wonderful production designer, Connor Jensen, and I talked to our wardrobe designer, costume designer, Maria Aguilar, and I was like, can the cast take a couple things? I really wanted them to be able to take mementos. Is there one big thing I took from set? Yes, Miss Jen's apple in the rehearsal room. There's a big apple prop in the background, and I was able to ship that home, and that now lives in my living room.
Final question is, what is your favorite non-canon ship in the show?
Non-canon ship? Oh, there is no safe way to answer that. I'm going to answer it a different way, which is some of the ships might surprise people this season, and they should watch season 4 to see how it all works out. But non-canon ships, that's fan stuff. That's for them to talk about. That's not my business. And I, as a lifelong fan of like Dawson's Creek, and I've done the same, ultimately it's not my business who they ship. It's my business to try to tell a complete story with the writers and the cast. But I so love that question, theoretically.